What's up, and welcome back to the 48 Men Podcast. Our guest today is Andrew East, and I do not think that he needs much of an introduction. So, Andrew, welcome to the podcast.
It's good to be here, man. Good to be here. Thanks for having me, Christian.
Man, it's so good to have you. So typically, I usually list everything about the guests and kind of what they do, but today I thought that I would maybe let you share about who you are and what all that you do, because you do so much.
Well, yeah, it's a short list, so I appreciate that. I'll go quick. I played football at Vanderbilt, then tried my hand at the NFL, bounced around a lot. I think I ended up with 8 different teams over a 5-year period, but ultimately finally played in 3 NFL games, which was my goal, so I was pretty pumped about that. And now my wife and I, we do podcasts, YouTube videos, and have a blast. So it's good.
Well, I love that you played at Vanderbilt, because Chance, my brother, played for 2 years at Vanderbilt, so I know that we've talked about that for a little bit. But not only did you play at Vanderbilt, you were a long snapper, and I feel like being a long snapper is just the coolest thing. So how did you get into long snapping?
Man, it's such a random, like, niche skill. My dad actually played football at Purdue. He was a tight end and wasn't getting any playing time, so he was looking at the roster like, how can I get on the field? And so he learned how to long snap. And then when we were growing up playing football, he was like, you guys got to learn how to long snap, because it's how you're going to get the furthest in football. And sure enough, he was right. Like, I showed up in college and I just was not big enough or fast enough to really play linebacker, which was my other position. And definitely by the time I made it to the pros, I was not even close to being able to play anything other than probably kicker, punter, or long snapper. So I just honed that skill in and made it happen.
I feel like long snapping, if I think back to like growing up in like my childhood, like when you play football in the front yard, like everybody at some point while you're throwing the football tries to see how far they can long snap it.
Yeah.
Like I remember just like literally having the football and trying to just in the driveway, just trying to see how far me and my brother can long snap it, and who could do it farther.
Who won?
I think I did. But then again, that was when we were like, 12
Yeah.
and I was 2 years older. So I think I had the age on him, and I think I was probably a little stronger back then. But I really wish that I would have thought about pursuing that, because like you said, that really is such a niche thing. And I think that's so cool.
Yeah, it was fun, man. I enjoyed it. I don't really even consider it playing football, to be honest with you. As a long snapper, you get maybe 8-9 plays a game. You're barely like doing anything except long snapping, so there's not much tackling. There's not much skill outside of just throwing a ball between your legs, but it's definitely provided me with a ton of experiences that I'm thankful for.
Did you have to block while you were long snapping?
Yeah.
You do?
Sometimes.
Did you ever just get
my first play in the NFL was against Calais Campbell, who's like 6'7", 330 pounds, and runs like a 4.6 40. So the dude's an animal. And I line up against him, and I'm like, this is not going to end well. But fortunately, I was able to hold my ground enough that it worked out.
Yeah. Well, what was that transition going in? From high school to playing at Vanderbilt, and then from Vanderbilt to playing professional. Like, what were those transitions like for you?
Dude, it's crazy because when I was a kid, like all the way through high school, all I wanted to do was play college football. That was my goal, and I think it was because my dad played. So I was like, we always had his football helmet laying around the house that we'd put on and pretend like we were college athletes. And so that was always my goal. And I did everything I could to try to make the college realm, Division I specifically. So I would like email all of the 120 plus D1 special teams coaches and like send them my highlight reel, right? Just begging essentially for a spot. And by the time signing day came around, I had 0 offers. So I was like a little bit bummed, but then the whole thing ended up panning out. I got a call 2 months after signing day from the coach at Vandy, where I had done like a summer camp, and he said that he had a scholarship spot opened up. And I was like, how did this happen? All the spots have been filled. Like there's no more scholarships left. And he said that there was like this, it was actually a super tragic incident where one of Vandy's best ever recruits out of Atlanta, his name was Rajon Bennett, someone broke into his house and with a gun and started just shooting around, and he jumped in front of his special needs little brother and like took a bullet for him, died.
Oh, wow.
And so because this thing happened, it opened up a spot for me to like come on in the team. And so there was like so many mixed emotions going through that, where I came in with, baggage, for lack of a better term, where I didn't feel worthy of being there. I felt like it was kind of a fluke. I felt like I had too big of shoes to fill, because this dude's spot I took was like just an absolute like top-notch character, top-notch football player. But I was fortunate enough to have someone kind of take me under their wing. And so every year that went by, like I got a little more comfortable, a little more confident. And by the time I left college, I was like two-time captain, was, we had this little scoring system in the weight room where you track all your metrics. And I was like the number one on the leaderboard for that. And I think I ended up, if you can consider starting at long snapper truly starting, then I technically started the most games of any Vanderbilt player, which is like crazy to think about. So I started all 4 years. We went to 3 bowl games. And so I was like the number one rated long snapper going into the pros. I was freaking feeling good, pumped, and was supposed to get drafted by the Patriots. That didn't happen. And so it began this whole free agency journey where I got signed by the Chiefs initially. And dude, I was a wreck, man. I had never been in a position where football was the only thing going on in my life. And so it just like, I was so anxious about it. I would like show up to practice just having thought about my performance the whole day. And I was so just micro focused on this, like how I was going to do that day, that it ultimately undermined my performance and was a reason I got cut, because I was like so anxious. So anyway, I would say high school to college was better than college to pros for sure.
That's crazy. Well, during that interim time span there between like, draft day versus, when you ended up signing, if at that point in your life, if that hadn't have worked out, what do you think that you would have wanted to go on and do? Because were you and Shawn went together then, were you?
Entering the pros, yeah, Shawn and I had been together since my junior year of college. I had no other plans, man. I was not thinking that far down the line. So I'm not sure. Probably Uber drived. Probably what I would have done.
Because Uber would have been a thing then. So that's hilarious to think about. But even from like you said, it seemed like it was a fluke thing that you ended up playing there. But I think that it's definitely the Lord's plan. Because if you look at where your life's now from that opportunity, it's really crazy that the platform that that gave you, and then everything you're doing now. I really think that you can look back at it, and that incident was a pivotal time in your life. And I really think that the Lord used that, and I think that's a huge reason that you have the platform that you have now.
Yeah, dude, I feel so grateful that all of my plans didn't pan out how I thought they would or when they thought they would. I feel like I would be so arrogant and like just overly confident in myself had that been the plan. Like had I had an offer on the table come signing day, or like it worked out with my first pro team. But it's kind of cool to think about how just like it's a shaping process. Like you're just getting formed through all that. And granted, it's a lot easier to think that, having been on the other side now, but I'm thankful for how it turned out.
Yeah. Well, what kind of workout regimen does a long snapper go through? Do you have like your own special workout routine?
Man, I'm sure they probably do now. Part of my problem was I was never like fully bought into like being a long snapper, because I was just in denial. I was like, I'm better than just being a long snapper. Like I don't want to be classified as that. So I'm like a meathead at heart, dude. I love just showing up to the weight room and hitting the squats. I love just, doing the grunt work, if you will. So I did nothing specific for long snapping, actually, now thinking about it.
Really?
Yeah.
You could have done like a straight arm, like lat pull down or something. So if you had huge lats, that would really, I feel like that's that and maybe triceps. I don't know.
Yeah. I should have had you as my trainer, I guess. For
that motion. Yeah, see, we would have just done heavy squats, heavy triceps, and maybe some like lat pull downs.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think about the appearance of how that would look. Just like nothing other than lats, triceps, and just quads. That'd be great. Sign me up.
No chest. No. It would be you. I think you'd almost look like Popeye, just huge forearms and just arms.
That'd be great, man. But, Popeye's got a pump.
Oh, Popeye's jacked.
Yeah.
Well, before the podcast, we kind of talked a little bit about what you're training now, and it sounds like you're a super competitive person, even with always being a denial of being a long snapper. And you talked about doing some CrossFit stuff, and now you're training for some other things. What do you love to do now, and where does that competitiveness come from, you think?
Oh, geez, where does it come from? I don't know. I'm in the middle of 5 kids. And there's 4 boys in that. So I'm sure it's just like what I was used to. Like we were competing at everything. My dad, like just naturally the activities that we got involved with were always competitive based. So baseball, rugby, we did all this, like swimming, anything and everything we did. And it took me a while to like understand how much I loved competition. But I read this book. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. Phenomenal. Would recommend it. It's so good. But in it, he's talking about the Sabbath, and he's like, what if you just did all the things that brought you the most joy out of life? And so I was like, that's a interesting question. Like, if you did all those in one day, what would that day look like? And so I wrote down a list of the things that I love doing. And it was like, I love being outside. I love like starting fires. I love, one of the things was competing. So like now, anytime I have a time with nothing scheduled, it's like I'm playing ping pong. I'm doing a workout. I'm like challenging this morning. I'm part of a men's group, and we did a mile run this morning just to see how we did. And, so I just love the idea of always pushing yourself. And that's why I think I'm drawn to competition, because that's the effect,
Yeah. If you were going to compete for one thing, like what do you think it would be? Something like CrossFit or like a weightlifting or like a Spartan game kind of thing, or a mile run?
I think the thing I'm best at is cycling, actually. I think, yeah. Like short distance cycling, I think I would do pretty well at. And
you're a big guy too.
Yeah, you should check. It's mostly in the thighs, so that's to my advantage.
Because you said that you did a half Ironman.
Oh no, I got challenged to, so I might do it in June.
You got challenged to.
Yeah.
See, I think that's the one thing that I would really, because for me it'd be the swim part. I'm decent in a pool, like 30 yards, but swimming a mile, I really think I would cramp out in my hamstring and drown.
No, dude, it's the wrong mindset, Christian. Come on, bro. You wouldn't just show up and swim a mile for the first time ever. You'd probably do.
No, I wouldn't. I would train, but I'm just saying that to me just sounds so daunting.
Freaking.
Are you a good swimmer?
Everything you've ever done in your life sounds daunting before you started doing it, Christian.
That is true.
I'm about to jump through the screen and get you right, man.
Are you a good swimmer?
No, I'm terrible at it, but I'll do it.
I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like that and then like training for like Nick Bear's a friend. Like they do like those like 100-mile ultra marathon things. Like that to me would be, I would never have any interest in doing that.
That would just destroy the body, And
yeah.
How much do you weigh?
210.
That's so heavy for endurance. Anything, really?
How much do you weigh?
Sorry,
are you too?
I meant to say my weight before I said that. I'm 225, so I
was gonna guess 220.
210 is a great weight, Christian. You wear it well. You're crushing it.
Well, thank you. I'm trying to get to about 215. But I got food poisoning like a month ago. I was like 212. Literally lost like 10 pounds in like the span of 4 hours. And then I've slowly, incrementally tried to gain it back. But like last night I had, so for yesterday for lunch, I had 2 spicy chicken sandwiches, 2 12-count grilled nuggets. For dinner, I had a hamburger, 5 chicken strips, like 5 wings, and then a medium milkshake from Baskin-Robbins.
Yo,
See, so I'm not. That was a bad day for me yesterday. I'm
you
really
had
not
Chick-fil-A
like.
twice?
No. The other place was like a local, like a local place. I was
Jeez,
just trying to
dude.
get a bunch of protein in that day.
You're living it up, man. I'm jealous.
Well, see, I'm like, if I train that hard, and then last night we had a basketball game, so I needed something to replenish. So everyone was
milkshake,
going.
here we come.
I see milkshakes are like my weaknesses. Do you like Baskin Robbins?
I haven't had Baskin Robbins in a long time, but I do love me a
Dude,
milkshake.
Baskin Robbins is the best. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
I'll take it from the
I'm telling
vet.
you. Well, okay, I'm really gonna take that advice to heart because swimming for me, it really is that one thing that just seems so daunting. But I'm maybe gonna try to get into it.
Well, what's the thing? You said two things that you don't think you'd be good at. What's the thing you think you would be best at?
Like I think honestly, I think I would be pretty decent at something like the Spartan Games kind of thing, or something like the Tough Mudder or something like that, like an obstacle course kind of thing.
All right. You and Sadie are coming back to Nashville. I think the one in Nashville is in October. I did it last year, bro. It was a fun time. I didn't know what I was getting into, but it was a good time.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'd be really good at it, but it would be like that would be something that I would enjoy training towards, something like that.
You skipped over my invitation. Are we doing this or not?
Yeah, let's do it. October.
Okay. October. Let's go.
When is your Ironman?
It's supposed to be in June, so it's coming up quick. I have not committed to it yet.
That's like 2 months away. Where's it at?
This one's in Puerto Rico.
Wow. See, you're traveling for this.
That's the plan, yeah. I haven't committed, Christian, but I'm interested.
Here's the thing. You just need to do it, then make a vacation out of it.
Yeah, that sounds ideal.
That sounds ideal. All right, well, before I ask you a spiritual question, I want to ask one more fitness thing. What's your best piece of fitness advice besides doing the thing that seems daunting to you?
There's a poster that hangs above my squat rack. Make yourself comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's like my life motto. That's how I walk into the gym every day. It's like, all right, I got to do something today, whether it's in a 15-minute time period or a 2-hour time period, where I'm going to push myself outside my comfort zone. And so I feel like if you do that every day, you're going to get a little better, and you'll look back as the days accumulate, and like you'll see the progress. So that would be it.
Well, there you go. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes.
There you go. I'm going to get that tattooed on my bicep.
Okay.
Just huge. Just be comfortable. Every time I'm doing curls, I hate doing this, but I'm just going to keep doing it.
What's huge, your bicep or the tattoo? Both.
I would. What do you know the thing from SpongeBob when the guy has like the tattoo and he moves the tattoo moves? You might not know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't actually.
Okay, well, never mind. I'll just stop. I was going to go on a tangent. Yeah, there was like this tattoo, and it was like I can't remember. It was like a seahorse maybe or something. And like every time that the person like flexed their bicep, the seahorse would like move. It was whatever.
Is this your motivation as you're working out every time, dude?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I try to put on Arnold's Pumping Iron documentary when I'm in the gym, and I just look at what an inspiration that guy is. You know. That's my.
You know that you're going to get there one day. But I want to, as much as I love talking about long snapping and football and even just all the lighthearted stuff, I really want to know your spiritual journey because even you kind of hinted at it a little bit when the Chiefs picked you up and then going through that period of anxiety. Where does faith begin for you, and what's your story with that relationship?
Yeah, I'm actually excited to answer this question because it's been a while since I've recounted my journey. So I was fortunate. My parents are amazing, dude, and my dad is an absolute psychopath, but he's a Christian. My mom was always like the super like gentle one, and she would always be telling us to pray about things and just super supportive. And so we had a really nice foundation in that sense, and did the Young Life camps, did FCA in college. And dude, it's like cliche to say, but it didn't really click for me in the sense that I wasn't super excited about my faith until probably like probably like 2 years into marriage. So yeah, like 4 years ago. And again, it was a mentor who was just like, I would just watch how he lived on a day-to-day basis. Josh Axe, I don't know if you know him. But he would like kind of be in this constant state of prayer and thanksgiving and like awe, whether we were at the beach watching the sunrise or sunset, or whether we were like eating a meal. It was always like he was pumped about everything. And it was because he like understood that it all comes from God, and like God, this is God's creation, and it didn't have to be this beautiful, but it is. And so it was like just watching this process of him living life and how he interacted with people and was so intentional and like really just challenged me, which, you know, I love a good challenge. But he would be like, yo, I want you to pray with Shawn tonight and make it longer than 10 minutes. And I'd be like, oh, I don't think I've ever done that in our relationship, but challenge accepted. Like what, you know, we have our routine that we've been doing, and it does not include this. So let me make myself comfortable with doing like this uncomfortable thing and try this out. And so it's like, I started doing all these practices and challenges, which you share so many good ones here on this show. And then like it really caught for me, and I was like, dude, wait, this is amazing. Like there's so much benefit that comes from even like the identity that you have from knowing who you are, as the Bible says. So like the Bible says, I actually was just writing this down because my buddy's going through a hard time and like has zero self-confidence. So I was like, bro, write down an identity statement based off what the Bible says. And so it includes things like, I'm a child of the King of the universe. I'm a citizen of heaven. I am not my past. I'm not my failures. I'm not my feelings. I've been fearfully and wonderfully made because I've been made in the image of God. I'm grateful, and I carry love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and self-control. Dude, I'm like, this is, if you actually stop and think about it, dude, that is such a different way to think about life and to live life. Yeah. And as I get older, I know I'm older, I'm 30 now, but the further along I get in this and I see my friends going on different paths and trajectories, it's like, bro, this is it. This is the best way to live life, man. Like it is the catalyst. Like wake up thankful every day. You have something to live for. You have a daily challenge. You have wisdom. Like, dude, if you look all these gurus these days, like Jordan Peterson or whoever name your dude, it's all biblical based. Like there's eternal truth. It just keeps resurfacing, and people are like, oh, I really like how this guy speaks. It's like, well, yeah, because he's essentially saying, he's talking about the Bible. That's it. So I don't know, man. It just gets me pumped up. So that, I don't know if that answered your question, but yeah, there you go.
No, that definitely does answer my question. And I love that, you know, your mentor challenged you with that, because I think that's something that me and Sadie try to do every day. We don't necessarily do it every day, so to speak. But I just know, even for our marriage and just ourselves spiritually healthy, you know, the more that we pray together and communicate with the Lord together, it really does just make your relationship so much stronger that we've come to see. So you kind of just hinted at routines a little bit. Do you have like a day-to-day spiritual routine that you try to, you know, kind of keep up with day to day?
Yeah. So my mornings, when the babies sleep well are, no, actually, I mean, you know, we just had our but wake up, at 5:30, and then I'll listen to a sermon, which is usually like a half hour. And then I'll do an hour workout. And then I'm a part of like a men's group. So there's always a book assignment for that. So then I'll read for a half hour, and that gets me to 7:30. And then I'm ready to pounce, dude. I'm just pumped up, ready for life.
Well, see, you do all that before I wake up.
What? Do you sleep in?
See, that 7:30 is not sleeping in.
Dude, honey lets you sleep till 7:30?
Here's the thing. Honey doesn't sleep during the night, so she makes up for it. Like, for instance, like last night, she slept through the night good for like a little bit, and then about 2 months ago she got an ear infection, and she never would sleep, and then she got tubes like 3 weeks ago. It's not really sleeping. It's like the weirdest thing. She doesn't finish bottles during the day, but then between like 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. she like downs a bottle. So she'll wake up at like midnight, and then she'll wake up again at like 3, and then she'll get in the bed with us, and then she'll sleep till like 8 or 9, and then at that point we're just dead. And then obviously we'll have things that we got to go do. So typically our mornings start a little later.
Wow.
But I wish I could be on that 5:30 grind, because that does something about getting up before the sun rises and, getting all my things done just really does sound meaningful. But
hey, Christian.
yes,
Hey, Christian.
we have had lack of sleep.
You have an alarm clock. It's not like out of your reach to wake up at 5:30, bro. You hear me?
Here's the thing.
You could do it.
Would you want to wake up at 5:30 if you got woken up at midnight from a screeching baby?
No,
had to feed her.
I'm with you.
Thank you. No. See, because then I wouldn't perform well in the gym. Then I would be cranky. Then I would be easily tempered. Then Sadie would get mad at me because my tone's bad. And then it's just all the things are like, it's just
real.
this cycle.
That's real.
Oh, no, trust me. If I don't get sleep, I'm like, Sadie's like, your tone is not nice. It's just like this perpetual, like, I need sleep. Honey's constantly like at nighttime not sleeping. So with all that to say, no, I don't wake up at 5:30 and I don't wake up at 7:30 either. I sleep in a little bit later than I would like to.
I get it.
But that's good. Well, I love that you're in a men's group. Is that like, because you said that this morning that y'all ran a mile. Is that like physically challenging and spiritually challenging, or is that like is that an all-encompassing group, or really what's that like?
All right, so it's funny. I joined one. Josh Axe invited me into his men's group, and the first thing he did was give us a contract that we had to sign. I was like, this is intense, dude. I thought we were just like, a bunch of friends hanging out. But he was like, no, this is a commitment, and you're going to review this contract, which says that you're going to show up to the meetings. You're going to have prepared for the meeting, which is like, you go through some Bible verses, you read a book, and then you're also going to review the contract with your wife, because she's a huge part of helping you follow through with this commitment. And I was like, dang, this is intense. What happens if I don't meet the criteria, or I miss a meeting? He's like, wait, you get kicked out. And I was like, dude, that feels so aggressive. Why would we do that? But then you think about it, it's like, all right, if our goal is actually to hone each other in as men and to learn and to connect, then actually having a contract is pretty helpful in that sense, where it's everyone saying, I will be there and I will be prepared and I'm going to put my best foot forward here. So I took that concept and we started this men's group with some of my old teammates from different phases of my life, and just really close friends that I feel like we are just, kind of peers. And the contract is not, I had them sign a contract as well. And it's not that you get kicked out if you miss a meeting, but there's a penalty, which is you have to run a mile, a sub 7-minute mile. So it's like, wow, game on. And that's what we had to do. A couple guys had penalties, so we were out there.
2:25, you're booking it. You're booking it to get under 7 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's easy. It's easy. You could do it.
Under 7 minutes is easy?
Yeah, you just got to practice, and then it is.
So you're missing a lot of meetings then. I'm just joking. Well, because even the idea of, signing a contract, I really think even just that idea of being committed, if you look at the Bible, when Jesus and his disciples, when it's come follow me, when he says leave father, mother, I feel like at our, even just our culture, we're very non-committal, and something that Jesus was super adamant about was being very all in. If you look at the cost of discipleship, it's super there is a buy-in, and I think that's even super cool with what you're doing with those contracts, and even just through the lens of it's just about being committed, because you don't want people that are non-committal or that are flaky in that sense of you're not going to show up and do the things, because that's what's so cool about the disciples. They got to see everything that Jesus did because they fully committed, because they left everything they had and they followed him.
Bro, yeah, they were walking around town with that dude. They were always a squad. It's not like Peter said, yo, I got to go go fishing. Sorry, I got a ditch. They were always rolling. It's crazy to think about. But
they were always rolling. They were 12 deep.
The idea of commitment has fundamentally actually changed like how I view and approach life. Like, and that sounds dramatic, but like I think we naturally understand that repetitions help with progress, but we don't understand how to get the repetitions in. But it's like, bro, if you're talking about fitness, or if you're talking about wealth, or if you're talking about marriage, it's like those all require a certain commitment in order to get you like building good habits. And so like you have to commit to that. There's something about showing up. And with the men's group, it's like if we aren't truly committed, if you're like hesitant to sign this contract, then we're just a bunch of chooches, like hoping that we like show up and hoping that we're prepared, and it's just not the same. So it's like way more fulfilling in my mind to actually jump in full go, you know?
For sure. Well, I want to ask you a quick question about Shawn, because y'all are both super, super well known, such bright lights. At what point, it can either be in your individual life or, collectively in marriage, at what point did y'all realize that y'all were doing something bigger than yourself? Because y'all have obviously a big platform, and y'all do so many good things through it. Like you said, you have a podcast, y'all do so many awesome things. At what point did you, want to use that to give back to people?
It took me probably too long to realize that we were doing something for bigger than ourselves. We would like show up and be in a room, and someone would see Shawn and they would break out in tears because like Shawn just has what she accomplished in the Olympics, winning the gold medal, and her story like is inspirational to people to the extent that they're brought to tears. I do not have that effect, Christian. Nobody cried out of happiness for seeing me yet.
Yeah, that hasn't happened to me yet either. That happens to Sadie a good bit, but never me.
Yeah. But so like it took me way too long to understand like there's almost an obligation for us to like tap into that and to like reciprocate that to whatever extent we can. But I would say it was really we went through a miscarriage. Our first pregnancy was like a miscarriage, and it was like the first video or thing that we had shared where we were fully in tune with how people like responded to it and in such a vulnerable way. And I was like, man, this is actually pretty powerful. That it kind of feels weird. I don't know if you've hit this point with like social media or putting stuff out there, but it's like, I feel weird just putting my life out there. Like it feels vain, right? Where, hey, look at this video of me and my wife. Like there's something strange about that. But I've shifted my mindset to be like, we have the ability to share our story in a way that people can connect with, and then turn around and like share their stories or like improve their stories in whatever way. But it's like, if we can have that effect where it's like a conversation starter, then mission accomplished,
Yeah. How did you and Shawn meet?
So my oldest brother's an Olympic cyclist, track cyclist, and they met at the 2012 London Olympics. She was looking to go into school at Vandy or Stanford. And so I shot her a DM and said, yo, if you need a tour, I'm your boy. And you better believe that was the best tour that's ever been given of the Vanderbilt campus, Christian,
So you did give her a tour?
I did give her a tour. Took her to the CMA Fest and locked it down, dude. That was it.
Nice. So y'all started dating after that?
Yeah. Well, okay. All right.
Dude, that's awesome.
We went on a first date, which was not the tour. She was like on Dancing with the Stars, which Sadie did too, right?
Yeah, Sadie did that too.
Based off what I'm seeing in your Instagram videos, Christian, I don't see a bright future for you on that show or me.
No, there's no hope.
But
there's no. Well, because even like, I don't even have the desire to like be good at that.
Dancing?
Because I feel like, because everyone's like, Christian's so bad. But I'm like, the reason that people enjoy watching these videos is because Sadie's good and I'm bad. If we were just another good couple that just could dance well together, like
nobody wants that.
Then we're just like the rest, who wants that?
Yeah.
But if you have like the picture of like what this dance is supposed to look like, and then what it looks like for the normal person. I feel like that's super relatable. We always say, this, it's kind of funny speaking of the Olympics, like we always say for these sports, like if you look at like swimming or like running, like you should have one normal person in all these events just so you can see how actually good these people are.
I agree.
Like think about like your average like swimmer swimming in a pool, racing against, you know, like the 200 meter, whatever the length is, or somebody doing like the 400 meter run for like track.
Yeah.
And just see how much better the everyone is versus like the average person.
Could you imagine the poor dude that goes out and is that person for like a hockey match in the NHL and just gets annihilated? Like,
see, that's what I'm saying. Like, we need this, or like for Shawn, like the gymnast, like the average gymnast at you know, just by and large at like a local place, and then just to see how good these people are. Because I feel like, you know, you like sometimes you can watch the Olympics and like even like swimming, it's like you just get caught up in like just watching it, but you don't realize like how freakishly good these people are.
mm-hmm.
So I think if you had a reminder of like, oh, here's where like I would be, and then that's where they are. See, I think I have an opportunity here to pitch that to the Olympics if you can set me up with that.
I think you should do a YouTube series on it, dude. I'm behind it. Let's go.
I should. Let's do it.
Yeah.
We'll get Shawn on board with it. See, you could be the cycler, and then you could see how good the cyclists are. Not that you're the average cycler, but you could be the guinea pig for that.
That'd be so embarrassing, but I would gladly step up to the plate and be embarrassed.
Well, man, I really enjoyed having you on. And before I wrap it up, I want to ask you for your physical and your spiritual challenge.
The physical challenge, I alluded to it earlier. It's run 1 mile. That's it. Okay. Dude, my buddies out there this morning were like, I can't run a sub 7 minute mile. Just like you did. And then you go out there and it's like, you got to just believe in yourself a little bit more. All right. And that's what the mile's going to do.
I can definitely run a sub 7 minute mile. I just was like thinking back to like sports when I was playing baseball in high school, like that was a very tough thing for a lot of people to get sub 7 minutes. Especially when you get older, like, I mean.
No. I think the peak endurance age for a male is like, 30 something? Maybe it's like right at 30. So actually, it was way easier for me now than it was in high school. I ran a 6:04 this morning, and my best ever, and that was like not even really pushing the throttle. And my best ever is with 5:45 that I did in high school. But I think I could probably beat 5:30 now, which I'm going to do next week.
Wow.
I'll follow up with that.
Yeah, one of my friends did the like the sub 5 minute mile, 500 pound back squat, and I was like, see, something like that would be something that I think that would be something fun to train for.
Yeah, that'd be brutal.
Don't know if I would ever do it, but I think that'd be something.
Sub 5 minute mile and over 500 pound squat
in the same day. So it's a 500 pound back squat. It was like one of the CrossFit games. It was never a competition, but Dave Castro did this thing of like,
wow.
He thought nobody. It's like the peak, like. Because really it was like bodybuilding. You have the 1,000-pound squat or whatever, but then you mix it with like a runner being super, athletic. So it's like if you mix the two together.
Bro, our boy Nick Bear would dominate that, right? That guy's an animal. Nick.
I don't think he can back squat. Dude, 500 pounds is a lot.
I saw you working the 405 the other day.
That was easy.
Let's go, dude.
I'm working to the 5. I don't know if I'll ever get there. I did 455 after that 405. I just didn't post the 455 because it didn't look as easy. The 405 looked a lot easier, which is why I posted that one up.
I got a spiritual challenge though.
Let me hear it.
Which is, and this is a challenge for me, man, because this makes me uncomfortable. All right.
Yeah.
But go to church this week. And during worship, you gotta put the hands up, man. Just for one song, just put the hands up.
I like it.
That to me is like such an uncomfortable situation. I don't know why, but I do think there's something to practicing like that posture of worship. So I don't know how you guys roll, but Shawn and I usually, hands behind the back, rocking back and forth. It's like let's put the hands up this week.
Yeah. We can be pretty charismatic.
Love that.
But I like that challenge. Well, I want to end it, and this is just kind of funny. And I just had this thought because you said that the peak male performance is like 30. So if you ever want to go back to long snapping, we can get you on a program where you Monday can be back squats, Wednesday can be kind of some tricep lats, and then Friday can be some kind of like some cardio endurance, some med ball throws, some sled pushes, and maybe something like that.
Love it, dude. That'd be great.
Hey, you heard it here first. Were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say, I think the peak strength age for a male is like younger, but for endurance, it's older. So just keep that in the back of your mind. We'll be doing Ironmans before you know it.
There we go. We'll be doing Ironman soon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit you up about those games in October.
Perfect.